Leila's second year, but this is my third year judging it. I'd say it's one of the most educational experiences in my life. The writing of my own poetry has come on hugely since I started judging the prize and discovering how not to write a poem. Many of the entries that were sent in. Poems that are written by very talented people who sent it in before it's finished. Send poems that have sonic missteps, elements of bathos, various things like that that just, as an editor for a journey, you might be able to go back to them and say, could you make a little change here and I'll find it publishable, or this is personally beginner, let's make space in the magazine for beginner. When it comes to a competition, everything really has to be top-notch and excellent. And the poems that won through were poems that were confident in their voice, authoritative poems that had engaging subject matter, poems which made no missteps whatsoever. And the standard was so high this year that we decided to double the number of highly commended poems we would publish in the next issue of Southward. The winner was Leila Chatti, and for those of you born before 1980, you'll be shocked to learn that Leila was born in 1990. She's a native of California, but she has, to use an Nabokovian locution, she's a racial sadid in her genes. We just discovered today that she may qualify for Irish citizenship. But she describes herself as a Tunisian-American citizen. Before she won the Gregory Prize, she came second place, but first poetry place in the narrative under 30 prize just a few months ago. One of the striking things actually about the poets who won in the past 2 years is that they've sent, the batch of poems they sent is almost uniformly impressive. It isn't just one single poem they sent that's brilliant. The 4 or 5 poems they've entered for the prize all together form a very strong portfolio. And this year and the last time I judged, I found myself awarding a highly commended place as well to the person who came first. We published the highly commended poem of Leila's in the Irish Examiner there in recent weeks. And you'll have a chance to read it again in Southward along with the winning poem. One of the things that Leila does well is clarity. Some poems charm you and impress you with they tease you with meaning. You mightn't quite understand what's going on, but you're intrigued, and you know that whatever the intentions of the poet are, they have accomplished them. Leila's done all that, but she produces work which is very, very clear and very easy to understand. The winning poem, after another attempt at 18, it doesn't just create tension and suspense through the evolving of narrative incidents in the poem, it does it through the music and the rhythm of her poem as well. And sometimes when you're a judge, you find yourself having to question your motivation for liking a poem. Am I having a peculiar day liking this poem? Well, I have to revisit the top 10 or 20 poems again and again. And there was a strong contender for a second prize, and I said, am I being too self-indulgent now in liking this particular poem for number 1? Should I really be giving the prize to number 2? At the end of the day, I said, okay, I'm just going to go with my intuition. This is the poem that's getting first prize, and I have to say, months later, I am not regretting it. So I'd like to invite you up to the stage now. So aside from the publication of the poems in Southward, there's going to be a cash prize of €1,000, and we subvented Leila's travel from America to be here, She received hotel accommodation all week, free tuition at the master class, food vouchers and drink vouchers all week, and she also has the option, if she wants, to book a week in Anna McCarrick for herself. So I think it is really one of the better poetry prizes on offer. And on top of that, long after the money is gone, we want her to be able to enjoy this plaque. It's done by the same artists who did this, and this is a small fridge magnet. And they're beautiful work, and if there's anybody in the audience who feels they want to acquire it without winning the prize, they can go into the craft shop in the English market, where you can buy them there, the fridge magnets or the plaques. Leila's got 15 minutes to share her poems with us. Thank you, Leila.
Thank you. All right, I'm looking at my phone to make sure that I know what's going on. Okay, hi. It's wonderful to be here. I don't even think I have words to express how grateful I am. So I'm very grateful to be here. I'm a bit of a purist. I don't usually talk between my poems, so sorry. Hopefully they're good as they are. Fasting in Tunis. Longing, we say, because desire is full of endless distances. Robert Haas. My God taught me hunger is a gift. It sweetens the meal. All day I have gone without because I know at the end I will eat and be satisfied. In this way, my desire is bearable. I endure this day as I have endured years of days without the whole of your affection. Your desire is one capable of rest. Mine keeps its eyes open, stalks through heat that quivers, waits to be fed. The sun burns a hole through the sky and I am patient. The ocean eats and eats at the sand and still hungers. I watch its wide blue tongue, knowing you are on the other side. What is greater, the distance between these bodies or their need? Noon gapes a vacant maw. There is long to go until the moon is served, white as a plate. You are far and still sleeping. The morning has not yet slunk into your bed, its dreams so vast and solitary. Once, long ago, I touched you, and I will touch you again. Your mouth a song I remember, your mouth a sugar I drink. This poem is titled, Of Love, Sappho Wrote. I really like Sappho, and if you haven't read her, do so. Okay. Of Love, Sappho Wrote. Sweet bitter, and of course the tongue is the muscle of heartache, the one which defines as separate territories of the body, throat and lip and ridge of pelvic bone, nipple pink as dawn in the mouth. I have tasted surfacing, your garland of hair, salt, you have come to my well and drank. If again you leave, leave fully, for the return is grief of an acute kind. Last we touched, summer pulsed like a fever. I fed you blackberries in bed, dark swallows of sweetness. You stained my body with each kiss. This poem is titled, Night Lament in Hergla. This is what the fearful do. When a burning star torments them, they go to the sea. Mahmoud Darwish. There is no world in which I am not haunted, no willing God to relinquish me. My mother taught me death comes wailing from the shadows. My father, all ghosts exist in smoke. I search the sky for light long extinguished, make wishes on their bright graves. In the dark I try every language you might recognize, but nothing calls you back. The words hang in the air, their own brief phantoms. The ocean offers no solace. I stand at its black edge as it retreats, draws close, backs away again. Like this, your memory wavers in the threshold. How many nights your name appeared on my lips like an incantation? How many times you've arrived in a dream, pale as prayer at dawn? Your absence burns its hole through my waking. I stalk the shores of your sleep which allow no entry. The moon reveals nothing of heaven, a blind window. You are gone in this country and all others. And as Patrick introduced, I'm Tunisian and American and a little Irish. And I write sometimes about, strange questions I get about what Arabs think about things, and I think that's a strange question. So one of those questions I once received is, what do Arabs think of ghosts? Which is the title of this poem. I think the woman means Muslims, ghost of a word mixed up with our bodies, as if they were the same thing, but either way I have no answer. I haven't asked around. There is too much death. It swells our tongues. It chokes. The soul is a bird flying. It doesn't rest long and its language is different. There are 3 night jars preening under the evening's cloak, by which I mean 3 souls. Are souls clean? Are ghosts? If every sad death made a phantom, my country would be thick with them. We would breathe them like air. They would keep us living. What do ghosts think of Arabs, I want to know? Are fires blooming like native blossoms, bombs planted like bulbs awaiting the spring? Death grows here. There are more every day. Before she died, my grandmother could only say her name. I don't know the names of the dead accumulating like snowflakes. So many the news talks about them as if they are one thing, a mound of indistinguishable parts. Who calls for them? Who houses them in their mouths? In skies blue as a door, the metal ghosts soar. They have wings but are no bird, have no soul. We know this better than anyone. Hometown Nocturne. My family lives in East Lansing, Michigan, which is where Michigan State is, and that's where I guess I sort of hail from if I have any sort of root. Hometown Nocturne. When I can't sleep, I remember it. Blue fields of night I'd slip into, my borrowed coat and second-hand boots, trailing frayed laces through curbside sleet and neighbors' lawns, the poplars lanky and indifferent as teenagers, the moon a spitball on the back of heaven's dark shirt. Some nights a boy would wait in a car humming down the street, thumbs drumming the wheel and the tailpipe panting. But more often the ones I liked didn't drive, got all A's and ran cross-country, had parents that kept them from me, tongued my name like a secret sweet. A good Muslim girl, I kissed mostly above the belt, prayed when I had to, and when I slid lipstick into my sleeve at the drugstore, I felt bad about it. I was very good at feeling bad. The sky fell regularly in little white stars that caught in my hair. The air singed my lungs, exhaled as tinsel. I shadowed streets heading nowhere, asphalt erased beneath a fresh sheet, season of rhymed windows, and bated breath by the radio. In every living room, some kind of nocturnal glow. Plastic menorahs, tongues of flame, cheap bulbs burning in fir branches, a nightlight shaped like a man of snow or God. And in darker rooms, our parents fell asleep on their backs watching reruns. Our brothers clicked on videos of squirming blondes in the trembling glare of computer screens, while somewhere else in a bar or basement, prized Midwestern jewels gleamed in the bellies of college girls, brunettes swirling in a cup and the tiny planets of ping-pong balls circling solar rims. Like this, I orbited the town of my origin, slogged familiar paths of salt-marbled sidewalks, ringed cul-de-sacs and parking lots, and potholes, gritty ice rinks. The hooded eyes of houses looked on and past me. The huddled trees whispered, brandished pom-poms just for show. I carved carefully my name in frost, scuffed my feet the whole way home. And Muslim Christmas. It sat downstairs on the air hockey table, its shedding needled branches, its copper wire arms. With care, our mother draped its false twigs in silver garlands, 2 for $1 on the clearance rack, and the ornaments, her mother's, long dead, we cradled in our palms like baby Jesus might have been held, our non-savior swathed in hay in the barn crib, safe and human. Before the 2-foot tree, we made our own, traced our hands on green construction paper, cut out 5-fingered fronds, and taped them to the wall. Our mother wept at its absurdity. But each December, he came for us. There were glittering gifts beneath whatever false icon we had constructed, and I marveled at how merciful this man-God could be, Santa Christ, Saint Jesus, who had found our home and come before the altar of the unbelieving, stood there in its wavering light, and left for us chocolate, snow boots, everything we liked. This poem, I've written a series of poems about Mary, actually. I'm very interested in Mary. It's probably my mother's Irish Catholic upbringing. But, I like Mary. Mary's also in Islam, too, so I'm married. Immaculate or otherwise. Though I'm not trying, I'm disappointed. Mary did nothing and God grew like a seed. I fuck men and receive the punctual mess. Always they think I should be grateful for the stain like a petal pressed between my legs, think this a miracle against their clumsiness, the wilted condom leaking in the dark. There's a reason, my half-hearted mantra against all that dejects me, the first tumor budding in the uterine wall, then the second, the relentless deluge of blood. My days persist conceptionless, immaculate or otherwise. I find success in determinable things. But still the sting remains, my body one unchosen, vessel of illness and ache. Call it rational prayer of the secular heart, progenitive urge, but there's a reason I know why I cry his name in the dark. Menorrhagia. Because I am bleeding, Henrik makes me tea. I curl on my side. Like this, I resemble my first photograph, the shadowy ultrasound of my mother's womb, my body cradled in its hollow, silver as a ghost. I fold into myself, press hands against hard wall of abdomen, try to warm it, appease its raging ache. And a folder on the table scans my inner landscape. I studied for hours the black pool, my pelvis's cavern, tumors round as stones worn smooth. A surge comes. He pours from the kettle, a steady stream fills the belly of my cup. The tea's parcel fine as gauze, color seeps, eddies through the water, its dark stain. Just a couple. Saint Bon. I lived in south of France for a couple months this fall, and this translates as holy cave. In November, 8 months after the surgery, I look out at everything dying and declare it radiant. He takes my hand on the scarred slope of a mountain named for Mary, not the mother of our non-savior, but his companion, woman of 7 devils and a reputation, one who felt the press of a god's lips to her. We stand in the gilded shade of beeches, oaks, leaves falling to our feet like gold shavings, and I am thinking again of the blood that hasn't come, the expected blot and this morning's bowl of clean water, my thighs pristine in every tree from here to horizon sloughing red. I wonder if it's true what's said of Mary, ferried across the sea, carried a baby adrift in her, birthed the son of God in a Provençal cave, the wall slicked and its mouth flooded with light. When we reach it, the grotto tucked in the cliff face like an eye socket, I sink into awe beyond language. I swallow its clotted silence. And when I enter the mountain's belly, descend the steps past soft leak of limestone and quivering votive flares, to reach the rock of consolation pitted as a fruit stone and flanked by bronze plaques, the unspoken names of the unborn carved into their surfaces as if permanence could bring solace. At the center of the craggy, rough-hewn womb, suddenly I am willing to believe in any God offered, to think this hollow, holy, if it means possible, the impossible children, the half-deity, the half-beating heart, a fetus budding in the barren plot. And when I tell him pray, he sits with me before the simple cross and the dim light of others' griefs, wavering at the altar. We fold our hands, not knowing how, bow our heads, Muslim and atheist fumbling in the dark chapel of the earth, murmuring, God of Mary, Mary of God, if, when, make it so. And this poem is what brought me here, after another attempt at 18. I keep the door open. It has been 3 days and I do not want to be left alone here, lowered into the tub like a grave plot, my body before me. Gathered on the rim, witnesses, mourners, plastic dinosaur, matchbox car, row of green soldiers flipping their guns. My brothers used to play with these during baths, submerging them, raising them, triumphant in their fists. My mother made them bathe together so they would not drown. If one went under, the other could pull him up or call out. Her sister died alone, body flooded with smoke. Before this, my aunt and I would sit in the tub facing each other like reflections, water gone cold, white bellies prickled with goose flesh, the dent in the center gathering its dark pool. Cupped in her palms, the water like dirt, handfuls poured over my head. The tub is still. I topple the toys from their perch, the men crouched and bracing, the car plunging into the deep. I sink beneath. The water rises, every drifting thing disturbed. I surface again, and they did. Shiver. And this is my last poem, so thank you guys. It's called Ode to Ugly Things. God bless ugliness. There is beauty in every ugly thing. I don't mean those eyes and teeth drifted apart like untethered boats because they are beautiful. I mean your sister, 3rd grade, her braces, each band a yellow figure 8, her favorite color, and trapped between the interstice of her front incisors, a gleaming broccoli bud. I mean the beetle, crushed, its husk cracked like a walnut, broken shell sleek as obsidian just cooled. I mean fluff of mold on 2-week-old pita bread, soft green bloom on the dark back shelf. I mean sore of the eye tube, slam of the door. I mean blood, however it comes, always bright and shining. The ambulance still screaming its wail, life, 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 all its lights spinning. The cars plunge over the rail of the bridge, glint of sparks from metal wrench, sleeve of water opening for whatever enters it. Your husband fucking another woman across town, the room paid in cash, even there is beauty. See how they rise and fall. See how in their faces, for a moment, is something like joy. Thank you.